Good Monday morning, everybody. It is going to be a beautiful day. I can already see it, and yet the glare of the sun is not quite out, so that's always a good thing as well. I've got both kitties in the car, and they are happy as clams, and we are headed to the office by way of McDonald's, because you know I need me some iced tea. Oh, Coco's sitting up and looking around. I guess she wants to say hi to you guys. So, before I get into my story part 2, I always like to give a little bit of a wrap-up of what I did since we last visited. Friday, did some wonderful, some great video work. I spent about a couple hours with my video producer, Jeremiah. I knew that'd be Wes trying to call me back. So I tried to call him to ask him something, and I was like, he'll call me right when I'm filming. No big deal. So we did some great video work, caught up some things, did a little bit of work to get ready for our trip. You know, we leave this Thursday. Very excited about that. Be gone a couple of weeks, but I intend to continue videoing as much as possible. And matter of fact, I've even rented a neat little device that my friend Mo Ibarra down in Houston told me to try. I rented it instead of buying it just because I own so much equipment that I don't use. So I'm going to test this one out. It's supposed to be able to get you great Wi-Fi pretty much anywhere in Europe, and the reviews on it are fantastic. So I'm hoping we can do some fun things, maybe even some 360 videos of the beautiful places we're going to go. I would love to take you guys all along with me, so that's my goal. I do have a new 360 camera, which is on on kind of an extender pole, so you can really get a great view. So I'm going to play with that today and see if I can get it working. Then I'll take you guys all along on our trip to Sweden and Finland, leaving Thursday. Then after that, Friday night, we went to the Tannenbaum Ball, which is the local ball that raises money for the excuse me, this cold is almost gone, for the Pioneer Museum and the Historic Society here in town. And I was calling Wes to try to find out if he could remember what the number raised was, because it was outrageous. It was into the 6 figures. I know that, and for this little small town, it's so amazing. One funny story I've got to tell y'all, you'll crack up. So my daughter Savannah and her friend Rachel went with us as well. And Savannah goes, I can't believe they're going to do this whole big fundraiser, including the Paddles Up portion, you know, where you just donate money. And all of this money is going to replace all the faucets. She goes, you wouldn't think it would cost that much to replace the faucets in a museum, would you? I was like, what are you talking about? She goes, I read it. It says we need all new faucets. We're going to fix every faucet. So I'm going, that doesn't sound right. Oh, yeah, I think you're right. No, you're wrong about something there. She goes, look on the back of your bid card. It says right there. So I flip it over, and it says, we are preparing to revamp every facet of the museum. So we're not revamping the faucets. We're revamping every facet of the museum, which I thought was just hysterical. And then of course she died laughing. She's like, she's such a glancer. And she and her friend are both going along, yeah. She goes, Wes, what do you think it says?
Hello, McDonald's, can I help you?
Yes, a large unsweet iced tea, please.
1 large unsweet iced tea. Anything else?
That's it.
This will last for your first one.
Thank you. And of course Wes picks it up and goes, revamping every facet of the I was going, what? Ace can make a lot of names, so I get that. But this is a great example, because I'm not really giving her a hard time for thinking the museum's revamping every faucet when they're going to revamp every facet of the building, because this is a kid with a classical education from Heritage School, a fabulous education. Smart as a whip, and this girl can do calculus like nobody's business. Matter of fact, she went into what do you call it, engineering at first, because she literally came on one day and asked me 20, 75, 80, 90, $1. There, we're good. Because she came home and said, is there a job where you can just do trigonometry all day long? And I said, honestly, I don't even really know what that means, but yeah, that sounds like engineering. So that's where she came up with the engineering thing. So this girl's no dummy, but I just thought that was hilarious how everybody's brains work a little different, because something that was so easy for me, now I can't do anything beyond college algebra, and she can do calc. So I thought y'all get a kick out of that story anyway. Yes, thank you. I think there's a little extra there. So back to our story. Where were we in my story? I had told you about my brother being killed, and a couple of you asked, which makes sense, what happened to the guy that murdered him.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. Yes. So again, I find, I don't know if you find this, but whenever someone's killed in the family, it's not something you talk about a lot. So I always try to say, this is my best understanding, and technically I could have some of my facts wrong, but these are the way I've been told my whole life, which was that I was told a couple of weeks, it could have been a couple of days. Sometime later, the guy who had murdered my brother, they said he was on drugs, alcohol, everything at the time, which I don't doubt. And came off of all that stuff, realized what he had done, supposedly knew my brother, and that part I don't doubt, because my brother was very outgoing, knew everybody, and he killed himself. So while that's, always a shame, I guess, if there has to be a silver lining to anything, it probably put quicker closure to that chapter. There's never closure when you lose a loved one, and certainly not a child, but I do feel for those people that are embroiled in ongoing legal issues for years. Can you imagine? Then going through trials to try to put the person who killed your child behind bars. I can't imagine the extra layer of grief and difficulty that must give to people, honestly. But then, like I said, life does go on. Life is for the living, and you have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And that's apparently what everyone did. Again, I have about a year there where I don't really have any memories, so I don't know, but somehow or another I was protected enough through it all and taken care of, and was probably in some ways my parents' saving grace, simply because, as my mom used to always say, I could never replace Gary, and that was never more my goal or my job to. But don't you think having a 4-year-old at the time probably just kept me from shutting down altogether, because you just couldn't. You just couldn't sit down and give up, which is what any parent would want to do when they lose a child. But when you have a 4-year-old, you got to at least do some amount of get up, put one foot in front of the other for one more day to make sure they're taken care of. So then I told you the story about how I went to Shreve Christian, graduated a year early. I was such a nerd. I was voted most studious. People ask me all the time. They love to say, oh, I bet you were a cheerleader. I'm like, I could not have been farther from a cheerleader. Now, I wanted to be one. Trust me. I tried out every chance there was, but I was none popular. And you have to be popular to be a cheerleader. I've always thought, well, these days it's not as much popularity. It's based on athletic skill. You have judges come in, and then I think to myself, yeah, you've been in even worse trouble, because I have no athletic skill. I never did a cartwheel. Fun fact, never did a cartwheel. Back handspring, forget about it. The splits, I am stiff as a board. So I would have been in big trouble no matter what. Never gonna be a cheerleader. So maybe that's why I enjoyed so much when my girls both got to be cheerleaders in their school, where pretty much everyone that wanted to participate could, and that was a lot of fun for me, seeing girls that just did it because they enjoyed it. So we had a good time with that. So then it was time to go away to college. So I was 17 years old, and I don't know if I even applied anywhere else. I went to Abilene Christian University, and my on again, off again boyfriend at the time was at ACU and had gone there. And most people from my church, if they went to school, that's pretty much where you went. So there wasn't a lot of decisions. It's not like these days, right? Everything's so different. I didn't have this, I had great grades, good scores on everything. I was, again, a nerd. But back then, you didn't really think about all these options for college. You went where your friends went, or where your little social world went, and that was ACU at the time. Don't regret it at all. It was a wonderful school. I studied, you're going to laugh at this, I studied government. And I'm the most non-political person on the earth. And maybe in some ways that helped me get that way, because I've told y'all, I think, anyway, let's not get ahead. So freshman year, I go there and I room with my old friend from church, college roommate. We drive the 6 hours in my little blue Chevette. Anybody remember the Chevette? She had a brown Chevette and I had a blue Chevette. So we carpooled, kind of convoyed, I guess you'd call it, back in the day, with our little cars full of stuff, heading to Abilene. And I remember I had very little more than a suitcase full of clothes with me, and I had to go home about 3 weeks later, because I was like, I didn't bring enough stuff. This isn't how we move these days, right? Where dorms get remade and remodeled and everything's fabulous for the kids. It was pretty basic back in the day. Who else can remember this? I remember that I was, of course, very close with my parents, so this was a big switch, even though I was so ready. I've told y'all I did not love high school, so I was ready to go. But the funny thing is, who else out there remembers long distance, right? So how many times did you call your family if you went away to school, right? Here's the reason. I went with Sunday night was our, so every Sunday night we would pulled over here. Every Sunday night we would get a phone call, and we'd talk for about 15 or 20 minutes, you know, maybe, because every minute counted, so you had to get it in. Get it in said quickly. So I remember on Sunday nights hearing that phone ring and waiting there to talk to my folks. So that was great. Had a great first year. Got all A's except a B in, you guessed it, college algebra, because math was not my thing. And I finally decided I'm good with like math in my head. I'm usually the quickest one to add up what things are and do basic normal math. But I think I was just kind of lazy when it came to algebra with any kind of math, and the reason was you can't get out of the homework, right? So if it was history, if it was anything else, I could read my notes well the night before the test, maybe read over a few things. Great, get an A. With math, every single day you got to turn in those, got to turn in your problems, which is a problem for me. I didn't want to do that. So I had one class. That's one reason I chose government. It only had one math. That was key. So first year was great. Enjoyed it. Did not do the sort. Coco, you are just sliding down, girl. We got to go in the office. Well, tomorrow we'll finish freshman year. I've got some good stories about that, but alas, you know my rule. I only drive here to the office. This little short, little slow drive, and we are there. So I'm gonna sign off and go join my team for their meeting. All that beeping safety stuff, and talk to you guys tomorrow.